What's up, everybody? Lee Shush and K9 Training here, and I don't want to spend too long on the intro because it's a little windy and I don't want to be doing too much yelling, but we have 16-month-old Sonic Z TAMMIK, and today we're going to be working on a few things that he's been doing in his basic position that I've been noticing. Relax. I have him in his relaxed position right now. So for those that don't know what shushing is, basic position is when you have the dog right at the side of you on the left side, and they have to look up at you the entire time, so they have to have their neck at an upwards position. So what I noticed is that, especially from the last video we posted, relax, when we're healing, which I'll show clips before we start the training in this video, I'll show clips from prior videos. When we start healing, once I say F-U-S-S, which is the command for us to start healing, the shushing command, he starts looking straight first, and then a few paces into the healing, that's when he starts looking up. It's not a problem if you're doing pet obedience type of healing, but it's a problem when you're doing shushing style healing because the dog has to look at an upwards angle the entire time. So relax. As I mentioned, the wind is blowing a little bit loud today, so this is going to be a voiceover video outside of the intro that I'm doing right now, and I'll show clips to the issues that he's doing that I noticed in prior videos. So what you're going to see me doing, you're going to see me use the ball, and this is what my trainer recommended I do to fix it. Relax. I'm going to have him at my left side. Well, let's just pretend this is my left side. I'm going to have him over here. He's going to be in a plot position a few feet away from me, and I'm going to have the ball. I'm going to use it as my lure. And when I say F-U-S-S, I'm going to lure him straight up into basic position. That way his neck goes straight up. His neck goes straight up into looking at me. We hold that spot for a couple of seconds, and then I'll reward him. I don't want to wait too long. We won't be taking any paces in today's video. This video is not about us moving in healing positions or anything like that. It's just me fixing his head, because his head has to be at an upwards angle anytime we're in basic position. Relax. So I'm going to have him, I'm going to reiterate again, I'm going to have him a few paces behind me, and I'll say F-U-S-S, and I'll lead him right up. I'll use the ball as a lure to guide him right up to basic position. We're going to get started with the video. Back.
What's up, everybody? It is Lee Shush and K9 Training here, and we are finally starting the video, which I said that I was going to do voiceover with. So as I mentioned in the intro of this video, we are specifically working on Onyx's head positioning during basic position. So as I showed in the prior clips before this actual training footage started, when I put him into basic position and we start actually healing, sometimes he starts looking forward. And, you know, at first I thought it was a matter of the dog making sure you're trying to exactly see where he's walking before he starts looking up at me. But after conversating with my trainer for a little while, you know, he was basically telling me that, you know, no matter what, if you're doing shushing style healing, the dog's focus has to be completely on you. So it doesn't matter if we take off healing and if we start pacing forward, he has to still learn to heal and look at me the entire time. So the point, you know, basically what my trainer told me is that best way to fix that is that we have to break. And if you are into shushing IGP style type of training, you guys will know what I mean. But my trainer told me the best way to fix that is that we have to break healing and basic position into two different parts. So I haven't really gotten into how we will train healing yet. I wanted to focus on basic position because obviously the dog starts in basic position before anything even happens. So for basic position, which is what you guys see me doing in this video, I will have him a few steps ahead of me. I will be a few paces ahead of him, and I will use the ball as a lure to kind of guide him right up into basic position. So when I say foos, he's not looking straight ahead. He's looking at the ball rise right up closer to my head. And obviously in the future, the ball will have to disappear and stuff like that. But this will put him in a better habit to where I say foos, which is, you know, we're about to start healing and shushing commands. This will put him in a habit of looking straight up instead of looking, you know, straight ahead. So if you guys look at my arm positions video, I will talk a little bit about that. You know, one small difficulty that I've been having is having my arm positioned having my arm in the correct position when I'm holding the ball, because and I talk about it a lot in my videos, you kind of have to get the ball as far, as far back as you can, to the point where it kind of feels uncomfortable for your arm. And the reason being is because going forward in the future, the ball will have to be faded entirely. The ball will have to either go up under my armpit, in my armpit, on top of my shoulder, or towards the back of me, maybe. I would say on top of my shoulder, or maybe towards the back. And then obviously after that, the ball will have to be faded entirely, and the dog will have to learn to just look at my face. So going forward in the future, you guys will probably see me hold my arms or hold the ball in different positioning, because I have to get his head as far up as possible. And there are ways to do that, a healing stick being one of them. But, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, my trainer said break up basic position and healing into 2 different training sections. So I even have a new way that I'm going to hold the healing stick going forward, but I'll showcase that when we get to actually working more foosing videos with this dog. So for those that are new to the channel, this is my first working line German Shepherd puppy. Klaus Onyx Z TAMMIK is only 16 months old, and we're going to be working towards our BH June of 2026. So we still have that's 10 months. We still have a lot of stuff to work on. By that time, he'll be 2 years old, which is the age that you usually see most dogs when they achieve their BH. So this is, this would be a short, I believe this video in itself, this actual training footage, was only 6 minutes. And I already explained in the intro what we were going to be working on, which is why I'm not kind of going over it right now during this voiceover. I just kind of wanted to go over the points on why we're specifically training this way and breaking Foos up into 2 different parts. Because as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, he has to learn, when I say Foos, there is no looking forward. He has to jump into basic position, meaning his head has to already be going up at going to an upwards angle looking at me. And that reason being, for people who aren't too familiar with the sport of shushing, it's a working dog sport. There's judges in this sport and stuff like that, and you have to get a certain amount of points, and you could lose points if the dog is not entirely focused. I was just training with my trainer recently, and he commented, he said, the dog Onyx has very good focus, very good nerves and stuff like that. But I can tell you spend a lot of time training, that is when I'm not training with my actual group. But at home, you spend a lot of time training in open fields where it's just us two. And there are times where, there'll be occasional people walking by, or joggers, or people crossing through the field, and Onyx does well. But what my trainer was telling me, which is so true, these trials that we are working our way towards, there's going to be lots of people there. There's going to be people around, a lot of noises. It's not going to be a quiet field. So going forward in the future, because my trainer recommended this, he recommended that going forward in the future, I spend a lot more time training in actual open parks and fields, and find little league baseball and soccer games, and find a separate field by them, and just work on Onyx focus. Focus is a very, very important thing. That's why in these videos, or in this video specifically, might not be able to really tell because of the voiceover I'm doing. I don't lure Onyx into basic position until his focus is completely on me. And we should be ending this video actually really soon. But I don't lure him up into basic position until his focus is completely on me. And going forward in the future, he can actually receive a correction because of that. Like right now, you see him looking around and stuff like that. I'm okay with it now because he's learning. But once he learns more and more of what I'm expecting from him, he can receive a correction for having his attention in other places other than me. So usually when I do these voiceovers, I am unaware when the video might end. Oh, it's actually about to end right now. So yeah.